What's up guys, it's Darius, and today I'm bringing you guys another Final Fantasy 15 video. Now today we're actually going to be going over a couple things, which is the Booster Pack DLC that's finally out, and how the game is after the update on PlayStation Pro, because I do have the PlayStation 4 Pro, and there are some key differences now between the regular version and the Pro version. So the first thing I actually want to go over is, again, in my last video that I was mentioning about in terms of this content coming out, is something that they didn't really tell us about as I guess big news, but there are those additional items and weapons you could have got if you pre-ordered through different retailers. So for example, you were able to get the Saber's Edge from Final Fantasy 13, Lightning's Blade, and the Mashes from Final Fantasy 10. Those are all on the PlayStation Store for about 50 cents. So you can actually pick up, I think, all four of them for about under $2 if you live in a tax-free state like I do, but if not, it's going to be just a little bit over. Also, they have the different skins you can buy for the car. So yeah, it's kind of cool that we're actually able to get those. I was able to buy all of the weapons, and I didn't show them really in this video, but I do have them. They're not really that good for combat, just because if you are later in the game, which you most likely are, and you're doing all of this in-game content, they're not really going to help you out that much, because the in-game weapons are such high in power and ability. So I guess it's just more of a novelty thing if you really wanted those. I know for sure I wanted the Saber's Edge just because I love 13. I know a lot of people don't, but I do, and that weapon was actually pretty cool. So the next thing I actually wanted to go over is the timed quest. So that's what you're actually going to be seeing during this video a little bit later on. What I can say about them is that I think they're a really cool idea, especially for people looking to upgrade very quickly. The one thing I really do like about time quests, at least for this time quest, they give you a lot of AP. So if you really don't feel like doing very tedious and boring methods of trying to farm AP, the one I do is using the Beast Whistle and using the Royal Arms shield, and kind of just going back and forth. And obviously we have from the holiday pack, we have the rings that you could put on to give you bonus AP for time at the end of battle and all that stuff. So those are one of the methods that you can do for farming AP, but this event, at least for right now, gives you 333 AP every time you finish it, and it honestly does not take that long to do. If you don't know, time quest this week, or for this, I guess, period of time, is having to defeat 100 Cactuars, and there's no time limit. You can literally just sit there and take as long as you want. So that really is all you really need to do for that time quest, and it's actually pretty rewarding. I think you get about 10k experience. It's either 10k experience or 10k gil. I know every time you do this, especially if you have the right magic and the right tactics, obviously I think for this, the most obvious technique you should be using is Gladiolus's Impulse. It's very powerful, and I have Limit Break on his, so they're most likely going to die if you have Limit Break. But even if not, I think they still will, just because they're all level 15. But yeah, it's not super easy, but you're not going to have a hard time with it. You do need to watch out for your health, just because these Cactuars are very fast, and they use these kind of AoE type attacks where they shoot a lot of blades and needles at you. So just watch out for it. But yeah, if you want a really good method, especially this time around, for farming some AP to get your tree out the way and all that, and I know I most likely will, you should most definitely go farm it this week. I'm actually not sure if there's a certain time limit you have to wait. I'll have to see for myself, but I'm pretty sure you're able to do this over and over again, because there is a thing at the bottom that says number of times completed. But let me know what you guys did, if it was completable over and over again. I'm just asking you guys because I most likely will not be able to, but I'll try to and get back to you guys maybe on Twitter or something like that. But if it was, let me know down in the comments section if it was farmable. But if not, it's still a free 333 AP that you should definitely take advantage of. The next thing I actually wanted to go over is the Ragnarok sword. Now, this is the same case for the DLC swords that I was talking about earlier. This sword isn't very powerful, but it is one of those weapons that I feel like I'll be using in the future, just because of the fact that I do use a lot of warp attacks, and I think we mostly all do, just because it's a great way to go in and out of battle and do some quick damage and kind of keep safe. The fact that the effect is you get a really cool damage boost from this, and also the fact that it really has a cool effect to it when you charge it up. It's one of the more unique weapons in the game that we actually have. It's actually kind of unfortunate that we weren't able to use this alongside the I guess sort of the Magitech exosuits / Power Ranger suits, because I feel like those probably have the same effect visually that this thing had. So it would have probably been alongside with this weapon. It would have probably been one of the more unique wardrobes that you could put on in the game. The only thing I really could complain about is that occasionally occasionally when you use this weapon, for some reason it just goes invisible on you. You really do not see it at all in Noxus's hands. He's doing damage and he's able to use the weapon. You can see him actually attack him, but the weapon is just invisible. So that's just a little glitch. It only happened to me. It probably didn't really happen to anybody else, but if it did, I don't know, maybe let me know down in the comment section if that happened to you. And the final thing I wanted to go over is the update itself and what it did for the PS4 Pro version of the game. So as you all know, they added a light mode for the PlayStation Pro that allowed the game to run at 60 frames per second. Now, as you're seeing right now, the gameplay is running at 60 frames per second. And the only thing I can really say for it is that I can see why it took so long for this to actually come out on the Pro, because it's actually pretty steady. Like, the only time I saw dips in the frames per second, like noticeable dips, when you were going against a really big mob of enemies. So for example, the Cactuar event, the timed hunt, that saw some dips here every now and then when there was a very large amount of them at the same time coming at me. But even in that one fight, it was occasional when it would happen. I expected it to happen a little bit more throughout the fight, but it really didn't. So yeah, I mean, it definitely does add to the experience of playing it on the Pro. It makes combat even smoother than it was before. It makes it just more satisfying, I guess, and it also does help out with reaction time, obviously, as frames per second should do in the first place. I feel like in my short time playing it, I already felt that my parrying and my dodging and counterattacks and all that were working much better because the game just ran a little bit more smoother. So I definitely do recommend anybody who has the PlayStation 4 Pro and has this game, you go back to it and play it, because there is a noticeable difference, obviously, in terms of frames per second. And honestly, I did not expect it to be this stable and this consistent in terms of the frames per second. The other things in the update that we kind of can't really go over now, just because, no, not really that consequential or anything like that, is the added level cap and all that stuff. I haven't really put a dent into even getting to level 100, but I'm sure one of these days I'll get bored and start grinding to 120. Obviously, they added more photo space and you're actually able to take photos by yourself now and stuff like that. And also the fishing rod, if you guys need to go do some of those fishing missions that were very hard for you, you can go back and do that now because they added a rod that should make fishing much easier. But that's about it for the video, guys. Let me know what you guys think of all this down below. If you experienced any of the new DLC that come out, what do you guys think of the Ragnarok sword? If you have this game on PS4 Pro, what do you think of the increased frame rate, and also all of the other DLC that they added? And what are you most excited for the future? I know that this DLC pack has me very excited for the future. Even though this is a very small pack, I'm actually satisfied for what I got out of this update and this DLC, and it's making Gladiolus' DLC much more high, and I guess my excitement for it. So let me know what you guys think of all that down below. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at Crystallis_King, and we can have a conversation on there as well. I might even share some photos and some videos on there of the gameplay separate from this video, and you guys can just go on there and have a discussion with me and some other YouTubers that I'm friends with on the game. But yeah, that's basically it for the video, guys. So let me know again all that down in the comment section. Give this video a like if you enjoyed the content and if it informed you on some stuff. Share with other people who aren't aware of what's going on with the game we all love right now, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.